at first, I didn't like him at all. You know, I didn't. I thought he was like, you know,
And he had a sex tape on J-Lo.
Jennifer Lopez has multiple things.
We knew then that there was a nice tape out there on J-Lo.
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
His father done things to him that he should be in jail for.
And I can tell the video was graphic in nature.
Can't tell you about the first time I met him the real truth. Can't speak on it, you know.
Some stories gotta be untold.
We need to have a serious conversation about Jennifer Lopez. For years, we've been sold this image of perfection, the glowing skin, the perfect body, the ageless beauty. But insiders are now claiming that behind the scenes, J-Lo has been hiding a permanent, painful secret for decades. We aren't just talking about a bad breakup or a sex tape anymore. We are talking about a medical condition that she allegedly contracted from Diddy in the late 90s. Something you can't get rid of, something that stays with you forever. If you've ever looked at Ben Affleck's miserable face during their marriage and wondered, what does he know that we don't? This is it. Reports are surfacing that the tapes being shopped around Hollywood right now don't just show compromising acts, they confirm a health crisis that has been kept buried by million-dollar NDAs. The lawyers are admitting these tapes are real, they are being sold, and they are about to expose why the most famous women in the world are suddenly terrified. If you thought you knew the story, you haven't heard the half of it. The forever gift and the Bennifer split. Let's get real for a second. We've all known or dated that one guy, the charming, flashy, toxic boyfriend who leaves a path of destruction behind him. For J-Lo, Diddy wasn't just a boyfriend, he was reportedly a hazard to her health. The rumor that has circulated in the industry for years, which is now gaining traction again, is that Diddy allegedly passed a permanent STD to Jennifer Lopez during their relationship. We're talking about the kind of condition that requires medication for the rest of your life. Think about the psychological toll that takes on a woman who is branded as a goddess. Now fast forward to her marriage with Ben Affleck. Why did Ben look so drained? Why did he run for the hills so fast? The speculation is that the reemergence of these old tapes brought all of J-Lo's past trauma and her secrets back to the surface. It's believed that Ben didn't just leave because of personality differences. He left because the media storm that is about to hit regarding her past with Diddy is going to be too toxic to survive. She's not just fighting for her reputation anymore. She's fighting to keep the most private details of her medical history from becoming a global headline. The buyback extortion trap. But here is where it gets terrifying. You might be wondering who actually has these videos. It's not the FBI. It's worse. The people holding these tapes are the former street workers, assistants, and fixers who were in the room when the cameras were rolling. And they are smart. They aren't leaking them for free. They are running a buyback scheme. Imagine getting a phone call today saying, I have a video of you from 20 years ago doing something you don't even remember, and if you don't pay me $5 million, I'm sending it to the press. That is the reality for these celebrities right now. It's pure extortion. This is why you see certain celebrities looking haggard, canceling tours, and stepping out of the spotlight. They aren't taking a break, they are negotiating for their lives. The fear isn't just about the public seeing the tapes, it's about their families, their husbands, and their children seeing what they were forced to do in those rooms. The gaslighting of women, Stevie J and Eve. To understand how deep this betrayal goes, you have to look at the pattern. Diddy didn't do this alone. His right-hand man for decades, Stevie J, was allegedly the architect of the record everything culture. Remember the tape that leaked with Stevie J and the rapper Eve? At the time, everyone brushed it off as a scandal, but looking back, it was a warning sign. For the women in this circle, it was constant gaslighting. They were likely told, "Don't worry, it's just for us," or "Trust me, I love you." But the cameras were always rolling. It's a violation of trust on the deepest level. And it's not just the women from the 90s. We are hearing reports that tapes are being shopped featuring the new generation of R&B stars, names like Trey Songz and Chris Brown. But for the women involved, the betrayal hits harder because they were sold a dream of love and success, only to be turned into digital currency for men to trade. The mother's worst nightmare, Bieber and Usher. If you're a mother, this next part is going to make your stomach turn. We need to talk about the kids who were left unsupervised around these men. Usher lived with Diddy as a teenager. He saw everything. And then he introduced a young Justin Bieber to that same world. Recently, Usher wiped 7,000 tweets from his account in one panic. Why? What is he trying to hide? The footage of Justin Bieber from those early years is heartbreaking to watch now. He looks lost, and his behavior over the years, the breakdowns, the erratic moments, looks a lot like trauma response. And then you have Jaden Smith and the bizarre dynamics with his father. Jaguar Wright has suggested that Diddy and Will Smith operated in similar circles, allegedly taking advantage of young actors. If there are tapes of these young men, videos taken when they were barely adults, it explains why their parents are so silent. They failed to protect them, and now the proof of that failure is being sold to the highest bidder.
Leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there already have been tapes.
My focus right now is Sean Combs because he's a sex trafficker and he's using music and entertainment to sex traffic.
And wow.
There's definitely a tape out there. Somebody gave me like a minute of a female that was allegedly J-Lo on it. I was gonna put out a DVD on that. J-Lo had her business attorney, this guy named Benny Medina. He was the one managing J-Lo and Puffy at the time. That's the only reason we was going after J-Lo. J-Lo was with Puffy, so J-Lo was on the war, right? Her PR people, it was about 8 top-notch executives inside this meeting when I'm walking in. They were on me, so I was like, woo, sure. You gotta remember Ja Rule and J-Lo had that hot song out at the time. Irv and Suge relationship was starting to get good. He was like, man, that tape you had on J-Lo, man.
Remember when Suge was saying that he had a sex tape with her? And he had a sex tape on J-Lo. I mean, Suge, nigga, she do this, nigga. You can't do that, nigga. Destroy that shit if you got it. He said, yo, Gotti, for you, tell her no one will ever see that shit. Has anyone ever seen that?
They got Stevie J on mad tapes, yo. They got him on tapes with Diddy. They got him on tapes with Justin. They got him on tapes with Jaden. They got him on tapes with a lot of people. You know, see, nobody ever asked why Jaden left that house so young. I know, but he hate Charlie, and I wish somebody would ask him why.
Yeah, well, his father done things to him that he should be in jail for. So
his father done things to everybody. His father done things to everybody's kids. What they did to Bashir. See, that's why me and Charlie into it over Bashir. I already know Megan done ate Onika box.
Oh,
I seen the video. I seen the video.
Jag.
Megan ate the Onika box for the 16 feature. I seen the video. Do you want to know who got it?
Right now.
Do you want to know who got it? Nosy Ho Live has the videotape of Megan Thee Stallion going down on Onika. Nosy Ho Live got it. She showed it to me.
It's gonna be big.
One particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became. No. Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
He's with my man Charlie Mack, so Charlie was with me every step of the way, first out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life.
He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loved to control people.
And his mentor was
Andre Harrell.
Saying that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
The silence of the power couples. Speaking of silence, have you noticed who isn't talking? Beyonce and Jay-Z. These two are the king and queen of the industry. Usually, they control the narrative, but right now, crickets. There's an old story Jay-Z tells about signing Rihanna. He wouldn't let her leave the office until 3 a.m., joking that she could only leave through the door with a contract or through the window. As women, we have to ask, does that sound like a funny business story, or does that sound like a threat? The theory is that Diddy has insurance on Jay-Z and Beyonce, too. If Diddy goes down, he has the leverage to pull the curtain back on how they reached the top. Their silence feels like self-preservation. They know that if they speak out, the people holding the tapes might decide that the Carters are the next target. The bigger-than-Diddy mystery and the female rappers. But the most shocking twist comes from the lawyers who have actually seen the evidence. They claim there is a person on these tapes who is more high-profile than Sean Combs. Who could possibly be bigger than Diddy? We're looking at politicians, tech billionaires, or global icons.
You know what? Can everybody just be real quiet for a second? I want to see if we can hear it. No, I don't hear anything at all. Nope. Definitely not hearing LeBron James on the subject of Diddy, which is weird. I'm going to actually need to hear from LeBron James on the subject of Diddy because he speaks out about virtually every other topic. Nobody asks his opinion. He gives his opinion. He's lecturing us. He's called the king. So why stay mum on your boy? That's my question.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce. I know you, man. But they can't control me. You see, it ain't no name I won't name.
And we didn't know what he was referring to then.
And it's not just the men. Jaguar Wright has been shouting from the rooftops about Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion, claiming there are graphic tapes involving them as well. Now, usually when people lie about celebrities, they get sued immediately. But Jaguar Wright hasn't been sued. Why? Because in a court of law, the truth is a defense. If they sue her, they have to open themselves up to discovery, and that is the last thing anyone wants.
Look at it like this. I look at real plain and simple. Ain't no whistleblower. Facts is there. But right now, I don't care if it's T.I., I don't care if it's Rick Ross, I don't care if it's Jay, I don't care if it's Snoop, I don't care if it's Game, I don't care if it's Dre. Nobody's stepping up. This man right here, he been involved with the FBI of his career. He got powerful people. One of his partners who started his company with drug money, President Obama, got him out of prison. So it's not like he don't have no moves.
Conclusion. This is why Hollywood is quiet. This is why J-Lo's marriage crumbled. It's not just about rumors anymore. It's about a dead man's switch. Diddy and his circle have ensured that if they burn, the entire industry burns with them. For J-Lo, the tragedy is that her fight for privacy regarding her health and her past might be a losing battle. The tapes are out there, the sellers are hungry for cash, and the clock is ticking.
But I just wish, to be honest, that the people that are being accused of certain things, they should just step up and be like, yo, they bugging. Man, you know what I mean? Just dead that shit. Like, this is a very transparent place and world in these days. It's very easy to say that's not true. I wasn't at that party. I didn't do what they said I did. So being silent is sometimes the loudest thing in the world. If the things aren't true, because I hear stuff that Jaguar says, and she be on like 10 toes down, like not allegedly. And I've been sued for not saying allegedly. That's why I got this problem I have now with this judgment. I would think that they could shut that down. So I'm curious. Now, I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm saying, yo, how come, like, you can get sued for nothing? So I'm like, yo, how come nobody's suing these people? Why won't they just say nah? Like, you know, I'm not calling out no names, but we all know that the shit they saying is nuts. And not just for homeboy, for everybody who was at the parties. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone was there. You know, I'm not going to even hold you. Like, I can't pretend I don't want to know. But I'm saying, like, DiCaprio, and I can tell you stories about that dude later or at another time. Like, why do we all have to wait? I don't want to wait. Just tell us what happened. Or tell us it didn't happen. Not just y'all, anyone that's being accused of that shit, bro, because we definitely want to know. The whole world wants to know. But when people start resigning and people start erasing their Twitters, then it just starts to look suspicious, and it makes people ask questions.
Like, why are there people? Why is there sexual behavior going on? And why are people naked in front of their kids, G? Doing all kinds of stuff. With all of this pharmaceutical stuff going on. With all of this weirdo actual and SA stuff going on. With people being, pharmaceutical out of their mind and waking up sore. You got a problem with the way you're being depicted. Little Ryder sitting there. He showed the video footage of all of the liquid DNA all over that bathroom where that guy G got popped in the studio with your son president. That's what you worried about? How you look?
Chaotic scenes as Diddy's family came to court to support him at his sentencing.
How you feeling today, Mama?
His mother, Janice, was followed by his son, Quincy, and 3 daughters who entered court hand in hand. Another son and his girlfriend were also there to show their support.
Let me tell you, not only because he had left, he was in the back of the court and then he went, I think they took him to like a back room, but all the Diddy kids are there, right? So his daughters are there. I was sitting behind them. It was awkward for me to watch them have to listen to all of this. After he started, the male Esther started getting into a lot of the masturbation and stuff, they got up and left. Who told him to leave? Did Diddy say leave or? No, Diddy didn't tell them to leave. I don't know if there was a conversation or not. I looked up from writing and I saw them get up, so I don't know. But I know that they were like checking on each other throughout. I saw them ask like Christian at one point, like, you okay?
50 Cent just want the crown to be the top rap mogul. He don't care for real. He about his bag. He coming for Jay next. Vivica told y'all. I guess I'm not so crazy after all, huh? Yeah, the Diddy doc is out. Y'all watched it. Now it's, Jaguar. Oh, we should have believed you. I've been told y'all this stuff. Y'all want to watch a little Netflix documentary by 50, and now y'all believe me. Diddy did them freak-offs on Biggie's death anniversary because he's trying to open a portal. He needs to collect souls for a portal to hell because that's where he going. Come on. Sean Combs, catacombs. And then he got the Mexican son helping him with his evil deeds. He was collecting souls and sacrificing them to Hades. We all know that. 4 years not enough. 4 years not enough. He need to be in there forever. Put him under the jail. Epstein Island? No, Gullah Island. Why you think that frog was so big? Diddy had them girls in South Carolina. The Gullah Geechee, yes. I was there. I was there with the girls.
Okay, if you was there, why you ain't help him? Why you ain't help the girls?
No, I was helping. I was handing out baby wipes. I did my part. I tried. The whole point of him filming this whole thing was because I'm sure that he planned on doing his own documentary. This is an extreme narcissist you're talking about. Extreme. He's sitting there with feds. And I shot away from his hotel suite, filming his hotel room. And he's looking at them and he's filming it right back. He's literally saying in certain parts, yeah. Make sure you're filming all of this because we need to get some, some cutaway shots. Dealing with Combs Enterprise. They come in and they work and they don't get paid. Yeah. So he was able to sell that footage to whomever he chose. As you heard Diddy say, I've been an exemplary client like you've asked. You said I've been an excellent client. I came here. I did everything you asked me to do. You don't think? He literally sat there and said, we need comms. We need comms. We need a way into this conversation. We're losing, he said. We're losing. But there's 9 billion people in the world, and 7 billion of them are on Instagram or TikTok. We need to have control of it. He said we need to know how these potential jurors are thinking. They were hoping to infect the jury pool, to see a lawyer sitting on the phone, having a conversation with a man who was about to be charged with some of the most heinous acts known in recent history for a public figure. I want you to think about that. Look at what happened from that. See, and this is why this documentary is I'm not calling it a documentary. I'm calling it a mockumentary. That's what I call it. He said people keep pretending like all of the stuff that they hear about Diddy is something that's new. He's been doing these things. So I'm sure for him, it made him feel good because all of that stuff that he was watching, he really came from that. But that was really his legacy. And yeah, I'm sure for him, it felt good to know that his dad was this big hustler who turned out to be a snitch, who got his brains removed. With the whole, God told me I can't do nothing, but he did say that you couldn't do something, and that you couldn't do something, and that you couldn't do something. God told you to do nothing. Why did you call Kalina 80 million times then? If God told you to do nothing, if God told you to be still, and what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms on the floor while she's standing up, bent over. And she was kissing him in the mouth on the video. It was like, yeah, my mom can bend over and touch the floor with her palms. If Lori Harvey was hanging out with, and it's kind of weird, like the whole relationship with Justin looks weird. He looks like Mini-Me with Dr. Evil. It's weird. During the first tragedy that made him famous, the City College celebrity basketball game that claimed 9 lives. Very similar to what happened with Travis Scott down in Houston for Astroworld. Isn't that funny? Isn't that such an odd coincidence? Diddy did that thing and 9 people ended up passing away at the end of it. Travis Scott did that thing and 9 people ended up passing away. Like it's the coincidences are like there's a lot of games being played. A lot of games being played, and there's no way that the federal government is just so green that they missed all of this. I mean, this is the same federal government that went after Al Capone, and even when they couldn't go after him legitimately for all of the things that they knew that he did. By the way, let's talk about that little historical fact. Part of the reason why they couldn't go after Al Capone the way that they went at him in the beginning was because of all of the corruption. They went after him for income tax. So this way, they could stack up the years and put him in jail forever without having to expose any of the government. The lawyer literally sat there and said to her, if you sign this contract, the only thing you're going to be is famous. You're going to get robbed. And she said, I signed it anyway. It's Bad Boy. According to Roxanne Mack Johnson. And by the way, the name Johnson, she married a cop in Chicago. It's funny, a police officer's wife, also a YouTuber, running around selling wild stories and selling wild tales. Allegedly, back before she married Craig Mack, she was sleeping with Kid from Kid and Play. She was also sleeping with their DJ. Apparently, she slept with everybody in the group except for the brown skin, Chris. And she was visiting with him while he was in town for a show in Chicago. Or they went to a meet and greet and they were supposed to meet up to hook up later that night at a hotel. And her and her friends went to the hotel. This is all Roxanne Mack Johnson's story. They went to the hotel and Kid never came. But Steve Stout, she alleged that Steve Stout and a few other people in security guard, they all came to party with her and her friends. And they had a full tray of tequila shots, which allegedly she said had been pharmaceutical up. They've been dosed. And her and her friends were drinking and they all passed out. And she believed that they had been raped. And she wanted me to run with her story online and advocate for her. But she didn't want to come forward. She wanted me to come forward with her story, but keep her as a Jane Doe. And the information that she was giving me was going to be enough to trigger Steve Stout to want to settle with her because she had a lawsuit that she was planning on putting on him for $2 million, and she was going to cut me in and make sure that I got paid. Me and Nosy whole life. I mean, there was a lot of people that weren't mentioned. Matter of fact, not too many people in the industry were mentioned who were there and present. Isn't that cute? I mean, they said it right. Diddy wanted to get down with Tupac. Tupac didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Nothing. He wanted nothing to do with Diddy. He was interested in helping Biggie. He was interested in promoting Biggie. He was interested in where that whole thing could go. He saw the promise. And I think he knew that Biggie was being taken advantage of. Did you see him with Little Rod working out?
Oh, man, that was... While
they were on the come down from all of the pharmaceuticals and all of the weirdo behavior and all of the alcohol, watching TD Jakes?
Yeah.
That didn't look weird.
It's very weird.
Diddy had a video person, a photographer that was always with him.
Right.
These couple days, that video person sent someone and didn't come on his own. Diddy has a legal agreement, from what I'm being told by his team. He had a legal agreement with that videographer, photographer. They're not for sure if it covers this person that would have sold or whatever, however 50 Cent obtained this footage. There was also a disagreement between Diddy and this person who shot this footage. This guy was never paid, and they didn't find that out, his attorneys, until this documentary dropped. So all of that stuff, edited, unedited, that was shot in that time, they are, I mean, if they bought it and they owned it the right way, and Diddy's team is still checking that out, it's there to be used. So we are about to see some things that I'm sure if he was in control of, we might not have seen.
But I want to know what you think. Do you believe Ben left because he found out the truth about J-Lo's past? And who do you think is the mystery person on the tape that everyone is afraid of? Let me know in the comments and click here to see the full timeline of Diddy's dark history.